Hey there. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, hello. All right, ladies. Well, happy Friday. I hope you're doing well. We're going to do a quick check-in here in just a moment on 4 pillars. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to wrangle your thoughts in. Yesterday, we talked about the 4 pillars and how they impact each other. And so I asked you yesterday to do some noticing and reflecting on how this might be happening for you. Maybe there's one of these pillars that you're struggling with and it's impacting the other, causing an imbalance. And I'd just love to get your observations about that. Also, before we jump into that kind of discussion, I do want to point out that it is day 22, and so we are getting ready to switch plans. And so the 24th is typically the day that we do that, and that falls on Sunday. So we're not meeting on Sunday. So we want to make sure if you've got questions about the eating plan, you'll want to be on the call tomorrow so that we can go over any transitions that you need to make. But today really is the ideal day to go ahead and be planning, okay, what are my first few meals going to be? So that way you can be ahead of the game. So, I just want to put that little bug in your ear so that you're thinking about what foods do I need to get. I like going into this to the 50-30-20 phase. It's actually the fat freeze phase, because the fat, as long as we're doing healthy fat, it gives us pretty good energy and we start to feel more full. And even though we know that during the detox part of our plan, we actually are getting enough food and our mind is hungrier than our body, it still feels good when you're eating the right amount of fat, incorporating that into your diet, that you feel more satiated. So that's how you know, okay, this is a mindset thing, because I've had plenty to eat. I'm not hungry at all. And my mind is still saying that it's time to eat, right? So it just makes it more clear about just about what's mindset and what's actual hunger. All righty, so we're going to go ahead and do a quick check-in here. And we'll start with Amanda. So Amanda, you can check in on how you did yesterday, and also would love to hear if you put any thought to our mental homework that we had yesterday.
I think I missed the last couple calls, but I can actually speak to that. So I'm just struggling really. And I moved myself to 50-30-20 because of it. Because that's really kind of what I was doing. And to your point, like I feel more satisfied, and so I just moved myself there, and it's more of a spiritual thing. I had a long talk with God yesterday about it, because it really does feel like this, I guess, war between kind of my, what my body wants and what, I need to do. Uh, so it's more around, I talked to him about gluttony. I talked to him about, being disobedient, and really wanting to be obedient and wanting to do this for the right reasons. And so that's really where I've been struggling, probably emotional too, because I feel like those two kind of go together.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons why I just moved myself there. And it's a process. it's a process. So, feeling good though. I mean, I woke up with an awful shoulder, neck, headache, and I know it's tension. I hold tension and stress in my body at night. And so I'll wake up like, all tense. And so, yeah, I need to work that out too by getting some more physical exercise too, I think. So anyway, that's where I'm at.
Well, I love the fact that you did that self-intervention in terms of, switching over to the plan. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you recognize, okay, I need to, in order to salvage what I'm doing right now, I'm going to go ahead and the way that fat freeze is structured with the 50-30, it's not going to hurt you. As a matter of fact, for some people, they might even drop a few extra pounds just from the change, but it does a lot to comfort you mentally and emotionally when you're incorporating more fat into your diet.
Yeah. I didn't see a lot of fluctuation, maybe a half pound, but to your point, down, up, down, it's kind of that, you're going down, up, but I feel good. I don't feel bloated. And that's why I like being on this plan, because my body feels good. My gut feels good. Once I get to this point, the first two phases are really hard for my body, but when I get here, I think it's just everybody's body's chemistry is just a little bit different. And I need that fat for my gut to function, I think.
Yeah.
So,
all right, good stuff. And just speaking about that spiritual pillar, it's in my mind, it's a staple. It's a must-have that no matter what you're planning or whatever you're deciding to do, just going to God and putting it in his hands for him to give you a running start by saying, Lord, I just need you to come in and take over. And he will. He'll come in and he'll release you from some things, but then you also have to let go.
yeah.
All right. So let's hear from Irma.
Good morning. Amanda, I am glad to know that I'm not the only one thinking of it. Because I'm going to be out and about all day today, I have decided to move on as well to the 50-30-20, because it will make it where I'm not going to make bad choices, because I can prepare something before I leave that will take care of me. But I did yesterday. It was, I had a good day. And, from an emotional standpoint, being able to get an appointment, a doctor's appointment for today is going to make everything better. So, but I was on plan. I stayed on plan yesterday, but this morning when I got up, I thought about it, and I said the best thing for me to do is to move forward so I won't mess up while I'm out and about all day today. So that's where I am.
Well, you ladies are some of our seasoned fit and focused ladies. So what I love about walking through this is really start to get what your body needs and what it doesn't need, and you adjust course. So I love that you're doing that. All right, so let's check in with Pamela. Hey, Miss Pamela.
There's normally two Pamelas, but it's talking about me, Pamela Perkins.
Yes, you, Pamela Perkins.
Oh, okay. Good morning. I've really been looking at the chart and just really identifying the different pillows. Our family is going through some major trials, our whole entire family. So we're kind of rallying together. A lot of our older adults or have already passed on, so I'm kind of one of the oldest people. I've kind of taken my mother's role, so if you kind of understand that, but I don't feel like my mother, so it's like, oh, wait a minute, I got to remember how I'm supposed to treat this or whatever. So, anyways, with all that being said, so emotionally, I'm definitely having to kind of get more control. So
Mhm.
I've just pretty much been maintaining, kind of hitting plan on and off, definitely mindful of it.
Mhm.
So every meal I do take in, I'm like, okay, Pamela, come on, take control.
Yeah.
But just continue to really get into the Word of God and just really allow it to saturate me. So that's where I'm at emotionally. It's just still struggling with the whole idea, like Angie was saying. Amanda, not Angie, but Amanda was saying, it's a battle. It's definitely a battle for me, a warfare within myself. So just keep me in prayer, ladies. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, and think about it like this too. So the emotional pillar is really being tugged on right now, and you're going to the spiritual to, to create some balance, but also be thinking about how is that impacting my mental pillar? And what is it about my mental pillar that might be in the way, that might be an obstacle? And I'll give you an example. So like if I'm feeling emotional about things, I know that my mind goes to a certain process in the way that it processes that, and I have to pull back. So like if I feel emotional, I'll want to overeat, or I will think about wine. And so wine has been like my nemesis. Yeah, I finally said that right. But so I noticed that when I'm feeling that emotion, my mental process is, oh, this is hard. I need to calm down. That equals a glass of wine. That will make everything better. And I have to stop myself in that mental process and get real with it. Like, actually, this is not the pattern that I want to follow, because when I do drink wine, I am reminded of that I'm allergic to most everything that's in that wine, and I swell up and I feel horrible the next day and nauseous, even if I just have one glass. It has the same effect as if I had drank the whole bottle by myself, right? So we have to be real with what's happening in our patterns. And so I have to purposely shift my mental process is to say, okay, I'm feeling the emotion. What's the intervention that I need to do? What's the intervention that I need to do on this process? I need to go to spiritual. And I may even have to incorporate physical. Maybe it's just that I go and I take a brisk walk around the neighborhood, something to purposely change the pattern that I'm doing. And it sounds all very simple, but to actually do it is a completely different ballgame. And so no matter what pillar we're in, it's about change. We can't leave out the process. We can't just ignore that process. It's something that we have to incorporate into our self-talk, and purposely we have to make ourselves invite all of the pillars in, and even ask the question, okay, so how can I use the physical pillar to help me with this problem? How can I use the spiritual pillar to help me through this problem? Good questions to ask. Okay, so Cookie, I see that you're on. Do you want to go ahead? Do you want to come off mute and check in? Okay, maybe not. So we'll go to Pamela Robbins.
Okay. Um, uh, I'm up. I'm up a pound because I did a Amish cheese last night. And my timing was off yesterday.
Okay, so what do you think, which one of these pillars kind of led you yesterday?
Um, I'm gonna guess it was my emotional, although I had a really great massage and it really helped me. But I always went to the tax accountant, which was okay. And things were just, I didn't put food in the car. I thought I was gonna be okay, and I didn't have my fruit.
Okay.
So timing and just thinking that I had it all together, and I didn't put my fruit in the car. That probably didn't help.
So that was a mental process. You may have been going through different emotions throughout the day, but your pattern is what was dominating you yesterday. You if you think about when we think about patterns, a pattern might be I'm out and about, I go without planning, and then when I get out there without planning, I start to go into survival mode, and then I relax, and so you got to identify these different
Pattern.
work through it.
Yeah, I did. I was gone longer. Well, yeah, everything was going well until my massage got delayed an hour, and then that meant I didn't eat lunch, and then I ate lunch late, and I ate dinner not late, but lunch was late. I missed my afternoon fruit. Yeah, I guess it's a pattern. I missed my fruit because I assumed a lot. I just assumed more than what I should have yesterday. I thought I had it together, but I didn't.
Well, and it sounds like the culprit in the pattern, in the mental pillar is whenever you are faced with something unexpected.
Yeah,
When something unexpected happens, that tends to throw you off. And so,
yeah, because I'm very much a planner.
mhm. So when planning is absent from your processing, your mental processing, then you are more likely to eat off plan and actually, not be just do
Not
it.
eat. And then that just doesn't, it's like a domino effect. It's like, well, I skipped that, so it's okay to do this. I skipped my fruit in the afternoon, and you know, then I ate that cheese was after a Zoom I was on last night, so it was 9 o'clock.
Mhm.
In my justification, I justified a dairy, and I knew I shouldn't have a dairy, but anyway, I did it. I did it. I justified it because I had skipped a fruit, and I wondered what it would do, and now I know. It's like, now I know it did it. I'm up a pound. Yes. And I wasn't as active. I was in the car more yesterday, and I wasn't in pain. Um, I had a good day of no pain because I wasn't as active.
Mhm. So there's something to think about, Pam. If what's the intervention that you need to have to change that mental pattern
Yeah.
that you fall into? What's the replacement, or what do you need to do? If you could go back and redo yesterday, what would you have done differently?
Um, I would have stuck a half of an apple in my car like I normally do. I would have stuck a half of an apple and at least a half of an apple in my car.
Yeah. Okay. But, so we know that you're a planner, and you, ideally, you would have planning as a part of that mental processing. But then the other question is, okay, so what happens if the unexpected happens? What will you plan for when, because it'll happen again. The unexpected will happen. What will you plan for? And let me just help you out on this. So it could be that you put something in your car that you know is not, not perishable. It could be a bag of nuts. It could be, it could be something that's just there as a stash that you can get into, that
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
absolutely need something, you have it there. But it's also, there comes a time when you have to, if you keep repeating the same mistake over and over and over, something needs to change with that pattern.
Yeah, it's a sabotage. It's a self-sabotage.
Okay, so we don't have to have all the answers today, but just something to think about.
Yes, and in the past I have had that, but I didn't. But I will. I can. I can.
So
Thanks.
Tara, I see you jumped on. We are following up from a conversation about our 4 pillars yesterday, and I had everybody being observant about how these pillars showed up and how they impact the other pillars in your life. So do you want to check in and share some thoughts?
For me, uh, it's really just about making a decision. And someone made mention yesterday about showing up. I just keep showing up. I think it was Catherine. I think she was saying about showing up, and I think for me right now, it's just about showing up and making sure I, at waking up in the morning for the meetings, and because I realize that helps me to stay on track, and it helps me to, it just helps me to have the right mindset for the rest of the day when it comes to eating. So right now for me is I have to, and it wasn't just showing up for the meetings, but when I was praying this morning, it was, Tamara, you need to show up for yourself. You show up for everyone else, but you need to show up for you. And this is what you're doing for you. So that's my takeaway from the conversations we had yesterday.
Yeah, gotcha. It's good. Good. All right. Cookie, did you want to try again to come back? There we go.
Yes, good morning. I think the emotional pillow was driving me. And I am just I stayed on track pretty much, did what I was supposed to. I missed my 3 o'clock snack and everything, but pretty much I stayed on track with everything else. But then yet this morning I'm up a pound.
Mhm.
And so, so I'm just torn, and definitely emotions is running wild, because like I need this to be going well with everything else being so chaotic around me right now. So that's where I am. But like, I'm not quitting. I'm still going to show up. I needed to be on the meeting. Uh, just for encouragement and to keep going, because it's just like so many moving parts. When I think it's calming down, it's not. So, but I'm still staying on track, but then I'm still up a pound. So I'm not sure what's happening with that.
That's want you to know that that does happen, and it happens for a few reasons. One might be that your body is just getting used to what you've been doing. The other thing is if at any time during the detox you've had any cheats or you've gone off plan, it always comes back, especially towards the end of that cycle, that phase. So it just kind of makes your body has a memory and it remembers that. So it's trying to hold on and gain back some ground. And so that's why we're going on to the next phase. This is about the point when it is time to change over and do something different so that your body it stays in a state of ketosis. We're kind of messing with ketosis one last time before we get into sustain your wins, and actually the next phase is where we're looking for sustainability to just hold on to what we've what we've dropped. So I do want to throw one thing out to you here. Any of these pillars can be troublesome to us at any time. I've had some trouble lately with my physical pillar, just being under the weather and feeling weak and things. And so when I feel like that, it's really hard to stay on plan, because if I'm not feeling good physically, that impacts my mental processes. It messes with my emotions. And then, of course, there's the whole spiritual aspect. And so I feel when I'm physically not feeling well, I do press into the Lord, but probably not as much as I usually do. So if you feel like one of your pillars is just really out of control, maybe it's the emotional one or the physical one or the whatever, maybe you're in a mental fog right now and you just feel like you're going through the motions, or even the fact that you feel distant from God. You're feeling like you're not as connected as you need to be. There is an extreme measure that you can take. We've talked about this before, but it is really about fasting. I do not recommend fasting as a normal way of dropping weight. I am in total disagreement with that, because once you start doing it, you have to always do it. And as women, it works fine for men, but for women, our bodies think that when we're fasting, we're starving it. And so whatever you eat next is going to be stored as fat. But when your emotions are running away from you and your physical pillar is just way out of control, whatever pillar is acting up, doing a fast can help to bring you back into a disciplined state. So, and that fast is not just you pushing away the plate for a day or two, but it's also getting back in tune from a spiritual standpoint to clear out any obstacles that would be in the way of you connecting with strength during this. We realize that we've got patterns in our flesh that are not serving us well, and we keep repeating those patterns over and over. And we've heard the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Well, every time you binge and you keep that pattern, the weight's going to come back, right? And it's going to fluctuate. So we got to break that pattern. And honestly, the best way to do that is to be in tune with God and call his forces forward to help you with that. And so what I've learned is it's better when things are out of control. The best thing to do is put yourself on a fast, to just give yourself a break from food and from worrying about it, and getting your head back on straight and getting your emotions in check and getting back in touch with the Lord. And then coming off of that fast by stepping right back into plan. So it actually builds strength. Will your first meal be stored as fat? Yes. Yes, it will. But that is a smaller consequence compared to if you were to stay in the pattern that you're in and you just keep repeating the overeating and the eating the things that your body doesn't want and is actually rejecting. So just throwing that out there to you. And of course, you can just go ahead like Amanda and Irma have done and just go ahead and go on to the next plan, because the next plan is easier to manage. All right, any thoughts or comments about what we're talking about today?
I have done the fast in the past, and we've done the fast in the past as a group, and it really does help the discipline part. It it is a reset, and it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling to feel. It helps you feel more. For some reason, it helps you feel more in front of food. That food is not the boss of you, and that you can stop at any time and decide to basically, I think it is drawing closer to God during that time. And you're doing a self-assessment in all your pillars, and helping clear your thoughts so that you can hear from God. And then just start again.
Yeah, and it's very powerful when you're doing it with someone else. Like my sister-in-law, we're doing it together. She's got some challenges that she's walking through. And so you may say to the group, does anybody else want to do this, so that we're doing this together for, maybe it's a 24-hour fast, maybe it's a 48-hour fast. You can absolutely do that.
Right.
Is anybody really interested in doing that? And there's no pressure if you don't.
Yeah. No pressure, but
Okay, well, it's something to think about, and if you want to do it, I'm doing it right now, so I'm in. I'm trying to get my physical pillar under injection because of the sinus infection and that, and I can already start to feel a little bit of a difference today. I know I didn't sound like it, but it's getting better. It's better than it.
well, and I think too that I had a plateau for 2 days, but then I did this not good thing. So I think a fast is appropriate.
Okay. All right, so Pam's gonna fast. All right, any other thoughts?
Just that I appreciate this group, and thank you, Angie, for you and Catherine and Irma for all your wisdom and help.
Aw, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, ladies, so I'm gonna let you go, and I recommend that you look over the plan for our next phase. We'll be back on tomorrow morning and checking in and getting crystal clear about what our food plan is going to be for this next phase. All right, everybody, have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.